I'm so sorry we are a couple of minutes late for coming. We are quite fortunate to have David. And next week, focusing on actually human resource, right? This talk about capability and capacity, right? Next week, the ex-head of director, human resource director for IDA is going to be here. His name is Yin Ching. He's going to talk about actually matching human capacity and resources to a startup, right? So these 2 weeks, we're going to talk about really manpower, human capacity, human capability, and I don't want to steal the thunder away from David. David is actually has been talking about this topic for quite a while. 12 years. And we were friends slightly more than 12 years. Don't say how many years. Slightly more than 12 years. And David has been actually researching in this particular field for as long as I actually know you, right? Since old days, right? And I think he will give us a view on what it takes, right, to be holistic in terms of an individual, in terms of skill and capacity. All right. So without further ado, let me introduce David.
Thank you, Chuck. All right. Good afternoon, gentlemen. The reason for our being Arrows with Soul, as you can hear from our title, is to put the soul back into people. So how do we put the soul back into people? Is to first remove the tyranny of fear, and then inoculate people, all right, with the blessedness of hope. I think today in the tech world, there's a lot of fear, especially in not people like you, because you are in the midst of the tech, isn't it? Right in the middle. But for the common worker out in the marketplace, okay, the disruption of tech, it's terrible. You can't just even imagine what it's going to be for the people when Uber goes digital, as in they start to have electric cars. Now there's a fallback for retrenched PMETs, all right, to drive for a time being and earn money, a decent money, not a lot of money. In fact, it's just enough to survive basically in Singapore, all right. But when it goes autonomous, what happens? So we want to remove the tyranny of fear from individuals, because sometimes organizations themselves are a bit too big. So you want to make a little bit of correction here and there. It's all right. So it's easier to deal with people. So how do we prepare people for the future? All right. That's why we call it crossing the tech Rubicon. There's a lot of narratives and platitudes about change and tech and what tech is doing to us. A lot of things people are talking about disruptions, but nobody is quite talking about how does an individual respond. How does an individual flourish and not survive? Like I said before many times, we are, if you believe in creation, that we are the epitome, all right, of God's creation, or highest evolved. So if H1N1 virus, which is a singular organism, survives to thrive, why is the highest order of nature surviving? Have we got it upside down? So indeed, you're not supposed to survive, but actually to thrive. So there are a lot of questions that confound us. And where are we right now? We are at the Rubicon. Just a little history about Rubicon. In 49 BC, Julius Caesar decided that he wants to disobey the Roman Senate and go ahead and enter into Italy. All right? And doing that means that the soldiers that follow him is a capital offense. He will be hanged or killed because it's a capital offense to go against the Roman Senate. But he went against anyway. And he burned all the ships and crossed the Rubicon River. What's that mean? It means it's a point of no return. So we are at the crux of human history and society where there's a point of no return. But how many people know that? How many people know that? They're just continually from Uber driver, after retrenched Uber driver, then after Uber driver, just hope for the best. That some way, someday, they're going to get the job. Are we preparing these people? The fact is, not enough. All right? So we want to empower people to cross the chasm, the tech chasm, with hope. So, first question. like I ask, because there are illuminaries here, what is technology? I'm looking for insights, so don't give me academic answers. So I'm looking for insights. What is technology? Anyone? Just share with me, please. You are very technical. What is technology?
Anything that enables you to do things better.
Okay, do things better. All right, enabler, right? Enabler. Any more? Any more?
Just tools.
Tools. Interesting. Any more? Yes, sir. Joe.
Simplifies our lives.
Simplify our lives. Are our lives any simpler today? We take a look at the general population.
Make them less complex.
Less complex. Huh? Are our lives any less complex? Or has it actually got worse? People cannot do simple things of feeding their family or earning a decent amount of keep, isn't it? So what is it then? What is technology then? Is it a curse or a blessing? Can you see or not? Nobody is asking this question. Everybody thinks that technology is a curse. But then we have techie guys here that thinks that technology is everything and everything. So where can we come to a deeper understanding of how it impacts lives? First thing, technology has a spectrum. Okay? So you have the bad spectrum, which is a disruptor. And the good spectrum is an enabler, a tool. Alright? To me, technology is a great leveler. No time in history of mankind has anything, a phenomenon like this happen, where a young boy, 14 years old, who's a whiz on the internet, can create an airline just from the internet. Where if there's anything that you want to know, 3 buttons, pop, enter, you know. Since when it was like this? I remember when I was young, I entered National Library. I want to find a book. You can see the catalogue, the library catalogue. Have you all seen that before? Those of you who are Gen Y, you have never seen it. Huh? It's like medicine chest in the Chinese pharmacy. Okay? You're going to pull out smelly cards, whole row of smelly cards, dirty and soiled, and then you're going to look under author's name, author's letters, all right? And then you find which street, which what. Then you go and find the book. Today, 3 taps on the computer, you got your answers. So it's a great leveler. So it disrupts organization, it disrupts, what do you call, sorry?
Process flow.
Process flow, everything. But on the other scale of technology, what are we seeing today? The last 50 years was technology boom, right? 1980s, not 50 years, since 1980s. Technology boom. Let's look at the costs, social costs. Why do we have phenomena like Donald Trump? Why do we have phenomena like Brexit? Can anybody draw the links? It's actually the direct result, all right, of the ills of technology. So what is it doing to people? Very simple. Few getting more, most getting less. So the Gini coefficients of countries, they are heavy and steep in technology. What happens? It's getting very, very lopsided. So a few people controls a whole bunch of economy. Take a look at Hong Kong. People are struggling doing legacy jobs like a cashier in a supermarket. 42 years old, 1 child, cannot make ends meet, living in a coffin hole, 150 square feet. And you have the likes of Li Ka-shing, Hutchinson Whampoa, all right? That is multiplying on an exponential scale, controlling a huge amount of the economy. And the general masses are suffering. Now what's happening? So has technology enabled a disparity in Gini coefficient? A disparity in how people make money and earn money and have a decent life? Now think very carefully, guys. At one point in history, at the start of the Industrial Revolution, capital needed labor. Capital needed labor. So when there's a good mix of capital and labor, value was produced. And at that time, labor was compensated very fairly. And that's how the rise of middle class. And middle class basically moved the economy because they consume. Okay? So now you have capital, lots of capital. Labor is losing its relevance. Why? Because with AI and robotics, I can easily replace an Uber driver with the automatic car. So when people who control the capital now diminish labor and actually commoditize labor, I don't need you anymore. There's no more fair exchange. So what happens? Labor will just have to accept lower and lower and lower remuneration for more and more and more and more work. So is it tenable? The society implications, the economic implications, and definitely the political implications of technology. Is it tenable? Is it sustainable? Brexit is one, Trump is two. You answer that question. Okay? So I think it's important that today we empower individuals. Organizations sometimes are too huge. Right? The ecosystems are very hard to dismantle. So we go with the simple flow, which is first thing, individuals. How do they acquire digital literacy? I think we have to have a new language to help people flourish. And what is digital literacy? First thing, they must be equipped with the right mental models of what success and failure mean in the new world. The second thing, they have to have the literacy for flourish in the digital economy. And of course, very important, what does the digital literacy do for us? Basically, it helps to orientate our mindsets. Orientate us on cardinal directions. That if I fail, it's a good thing. If I suffer, it's a good thing. Today's life is all about designer. Parents want designer kids that go to designer schools, that wear designer clothes, all right, and have designer, what? Diplomas and degrees. Is life really designer? Can you really design it? To optimize until everything happens on the good? And if that, it does that, doesn't it contravene the theory of evolution where people, where living organisms actually die off or suffer a big setback and then they come back again, stronger, stretched? So how do you have this designer thing that is happening now? And is it good for everybody? And don't forget, all these designer things are only available, basically, to people that have. And the rest of them don't have. So it's important for us now to empower each and every individual how to flourish. When I say digital numeracy, it's no longer the ones and the zeros or coding language or anything like that. No. It's the kind of mental models that we need to survive in the, not survive, I hate the word survive, to flourish in the digital economy. Okay? So going back to basics, that's where we are. So now, let's find out where we are, going through history. So this is the smart workplace. This one is by Bersing, Deloitte. Very interesting research. We have the 1950s, okay, characterized by operational efficiency. As you would know, this is manufacturing. Industrial age people are workers. Yes, no? And then the hallmarks of these people or the illuminaries would be Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford. All right. And manufacturing is a science, right up to how many seconds it requires to drill 4 screws into a widget. Okay? So the corporation is king. People work for the corporation. That time, everything is linear. Right? You trade your time for labor, you trade your time for money. Then you move on to the next 60s and the 80s. Very interesting era. The profit growth, financial engineering came about. 1970s, Kissinger decided that paper becomes value. Alright? Remove the backing by gold. So we talk about management by objectives. I remember we were talking about this just maybe 5-10 years ago. And it's supposed to be 1960s. Alright? We have Jack Welch, Peter Drucker. Okay? As the luminaries. Executives are king. The C-suites are king. C-suites are king. Today we're moving into 1990s. Alright? Digital era is full swing. Collaborative management is the code word. Customer service employees as leaders. And we're talking about servant leadership. But do anyone really truly understand the C-suite? Really understand what it means to be servant leader? Servant first, leader second. Okay. And we have Howard Schultz, Steve Jobs. Right? And indeed, they were right for the times. And look at the companies. Steve Jobs created Apple. Apple is a lifestyle statement that everybody must have. Of course, after he died, today we are not so sure about 8 and 10, right? Okay, so the people are king. Not C-suite, huh? People are king. Then we move to today, which is 2017, 21st century. Mission, purpose, sustainability is key. We want the team to be empowered and the leaders to get out of the way. We want that, the examples will be Netflix, Google, Facebook, Amazon. We know how these companies grew exponentially. We also know how many employees they have vis-a-vis the old economy like Sony. We know, alright? We also know how productive these people are and how do they work. Teams and the team leaders are kings. The teams and the team leaders are kings. So, take a look. This is the progression of human labor the last 70 years. A lot has changed. Now, you think carefully where leadership is. Let's start with Singapore. Are we here yet, or even here yet? Now, it's shocking, guys. We are supposed to be first world. We're going to be a smart nation. I cannot deny the fact that a lot of things are still at dinosaur age. And how are the people going to respond? Very simple. They come out to the real world, which is the 21st century, 2017. Their relatives are all losing their jobs. Their children, after studying so much, paid so much for university education, cannot find jobs. This is their now reality. And their cost of living has increased so high, not just Singapore, everywhere around the world. Cost of living so high that nothing is ever sustainable. So there's no more savings. Forget even the word retirement. It only exists for 40 years and one generation of people. Today, no more. Unless, of course, you become the technology controller. Alright? So their reality as they step out of work is this. And when they go back to work, what are they going through? Back to the 60s. Management systems are still back there. The C-suite is still as powerful as ever. And since when, ask yourself a question, since when has any organization designed something that benefits the employees? Or, more the narrative would be, benefit the corporate, isn't it? So the language and the questions we ask have to change, and this is the truth. As much as it may not be popular. So three very important questions as we move into the tech world, alright? How long will the leaders hold back the future? How long will the leaders hold back the future? We've been asking all the wrong questions. What can you do for the country? Right? The very famous quote by John F. Kennedy. Ask not what the country can do for you, but what you can do for the country. Today the narrative is turned around. You want the best employees. You want to attract the millennials. You have to ask, what can the company do for me? The question has to be reversed. Now the problem is, many of these people are not rising up to the plate. Alright? They are not stepping up to ask this kind of question. So they just they just let the job scope define them. They let dinosaur management practices define them. And they say, never mind, as long as I get a salary. This is not right to flourish in the new economy. No way. And the future of work now is personal. How do I want to give you an example? Let me just give you this example first. Then I'll try to relate that because I'm a bit all over the place now. Now, I was just helping a friend do copywriting and strategic unique selling proposition for a company. It's a chicken farm. So we were stuck on a tagline. She was saying, fresh food tastes best, la la la. I said, hello, that's very pedestrian, man. Can we do something that's more or not? That really gives people a vision, not only the customers a vision, but also the corporates and everyone in the corporate, from the farmers to the chicken shit people who remove the chicken shit to the CEO, a same common purpose. So she said, okay, tell me what's your idea. I said, I just had a brainwave. I want the chickens to be happy. Really, I want the chickens to be happy. So I said, why don't we call the tagline, happy chickens, tastier chickens. Now, what do I mean by happy chickens? What do I mean by happy chickens? So then they started asking, what do you mean by happy chickens? I said, your chicken happy or not? What do you mean by happy chickens? Do they have enough space to at least move 3 steps to the left and 3 steps to the right? Go or not? That one, not 3 steps, 2.5. I say good enough. Guys, do you know what is it like to be a broiler chicken? Have you heard of broiler chickens? Broiler chickens are kept side to side, alright? Fed on a very high fat diet, growth hormones, such that in 30 days they achieve the harvested weight. You know the problem with broiler chickens? Because they have no room to move, their legs are very, very weak. And then because they eat so much, the chest is so huge because breast meat now, right? Everybody wants breast meat, right? The chest is so huge, they are almost tipping over. What kind of chickens are those? Happy or sad? Stressed out chickens. Stressed out chickens. So when you have stressed out chickens, do you get your end result of good food, tasty food, safe foods? Now compare that to a kampung chicken, that one commando, ranger. Kampung chicken has a lot of decisions to make. 6 o'clock, do I crow or do I not crow? And if I do crow, how loud I want to crow? Not only that, no, he looks about, there's a harem of hens, another harem of hens, which one I go first? And he's happy, isn't it? Living his dreams in the harem here, harem 2, then he look over at neighbor's farm, another harem down there. He has decisions to make, right? He has personal accountability, personal responsibility, and he has to be authentic, isn't it? He has to be himself so that when the hens look at him, hey, handsome dude. And then he crows up, woo! Alright? And then what happens? Wow, beautiful voice, can sing. He has a responsibility to be authentic as a chicken, as a male chicken, the cock of the coop. Yeah? So when a chicken is happy, what happens? The meat is tastier, isn't it? The chicken is always up to some antics that you can eat. You watch them, you laugh because it's so funny. Alright? Versus a broiler chicken. The fact is, since industrial economy and the management practices of today or the old, many people, the common people, has become broiler chickens. And we just accept our job scope. Eat every day and eat all the time. And then you become fat. And you become weak. And you don't make decisions anymore. What happens? You degenerate. You don't taste good anymore. There's no more creativity. There's no more innovation in you. So, the way of the future is to teach people how future of work is now personal, that authenticity is important. You become you, alright? And you are responsible for all the decisions you make. Not the government, not Chuck, not your boss, not your teachers, not your schools. You. How many of our kids are actually trained like that? In fact, none. It's very, very sad. Then are we ready for the future? No! We are just ready to go to the slaughterhouse. Fat and cannot walk. And very dutiful. Eating and eating all day. Because that's my job description. My job scope. So asking the wrong question, how do we get the best people? What the company can do for me today, the best employees are saying, what can the company do for me to help me achieve my goals, of which I otherwise would not be able to do alone? Which I otherwise would not be able to do alone. How can the company help me go beyond? How can the company help me find my passions, give me a vehicle, alright, give me the economies of scale so that I can scale and achieve my dreams? But how many workers are asking that questions? Every worker now is asking, how much feed are you giving me to every day, a month? Do I get any benefits? Can I stretch my leg? Everybody is asking how much and what must I do? Nobody is defining what their work should be. Nobody is defining what their personal development should be over the next 5 years. Nobody is defining that. How can that be? And how long will leaders hold back the future? You see, as with all economies throughout the history of mankind, there's always self-interest comes first. Alright? So do I maintain status quo?
or risk myself, all right, to be courageous, to do things differently? Can I get out of KPIs and talk about human engagement? KPIs are two-dimensional. Huh? A human capacity is how many dimensions? You decide. If you haven't thought of it, think about it. KPIs are two-dimensional. Human capability, human capacity is how many dimensions? I can be a father, I can teach salt light in the church, I can volunteer, I can lay hands and heal people through my God. I can do a lot of things. I'm also a good grandson, a good son, a good son-in-law, a coach, an encourager, a restorer. I pray for the sick. I pray for anyone I meet who's not good. I am multidimensional. What KPI can measure me? What KPI can measure my engagement? You tell me now. So if we are measuring the wrong things, of course we are going the wrong way, aren't we? So how long will leaders go back in the future is a very key question. That I cannot control. But certainly, it's important now to let the broiler chickens know that there is such thing as you can sing. 6 o'clock every morning. And when you do that, all the hens in the neighborhood coops, they will start looking at you. You like that? You like that? Oh, wow, new possibilities. Yes, new possibilities. Okay? Then you can tell them, say, look, your chest don't have to be so big to be attractive to the hens. What I want to see is strong legs. Run around. And after they run around, endorphins are pumping. They feel good. They are happy chickens. And if they are happy chickens, do you think they'll be creative and innovative? I'm sure they are. So let's move on. So the rules of the game has changed. Companies know it. Some leaders know it. Alright? But the sad truth is all the broiler chickens still don't know. The rules of the game has changed. Of course, people like yourselves who are in the thick of tech, you would know. Right? So, we always approach problems with a very systemic outlook. Why? Because it's important. It's not good to just window dress. When you want to change, you don't change your clothes because you're still smelly inside. Right? You change your clothes, you think you're going to have a new outlook. It's not enough. You have to have the inside-out transformation. So how do we do that? We take a look at the iceberg model. Alright? First, we talk about what's happening outside. Then after the patterns of behavior that's responding to the events outside. Okay? So let's take a look at what's happening in Singapore. Events outside, retrenchment of PMETs. Alright, we have a problem of graduates finding jobs because they are a little bit irrelevant. Alright? So what are the patterns of behavior? More skills upgrading. Correct or not? Now, how many skills can you upgrade before you lose your obsolescence again? How does it really help you in the long term? It doesn't. Skills at the base level, when we talk about competence, pays nothing. It only keeps you relevant only for a short time before the goalposts start to shift again. Then you need to reskill again. Have you heard, in the days of old, a barber is a barber and becomes a hairdresser, alright, and becomes a hair artist. And as he moves up the vocational chain, after years of practice and doing the same things and of course innovating, alright, he starts to command a higher and higher premium. If you just know how to cut hair, you are skillful, but you are at base level. So it's not good enough to have skills. You have to move yourself from low-level skills, which is competence, alright, which is the rage of today, towards expert skills, towards artisan skills. Then you start to command a premium. So that the skills, learning of upgrading of skills, I think is heading the wrong way because you're not going to solve the problem at its roots. You're just band-aiding, alright, and the wound will fester and it will start to bleed again. So we need to look at the system structure, right? What's happening, alright? And look at, most important, the mental models of each and every broiler chicken. What values, assumptions, and beliefs shapes the way you behave? there a new language for us to behave or act in the new digital economy? Certainly, certainly. Alright? So let's start with the first mental model. Okay? Imagine we are a tree. Okay? We are a tree. And for this tree to flourish in inclement weather, the root or the fruit is more important. Don't tell me, hey, no fruit, no root, no, that's chicken egg. No. Let's focus on you as being a tree, and you are already a tree. Alright? To flourish in this age of disruption, tell me, the root or the fruit is more important? Come on. The root. Alright, the root. Very good. Let me ask you, your salary, root or fruit? Fruit. Your education, root or fruit? Root. It's a fruit. It's a fruit. Low-hanging fruit. People can pluck away. People can steal. The birds will chip at it. Alright? The insects will eat it. Okay? So, your skills, root or fruit? It's a small root. It's a small root. Let's talk about attitude. Your attitude, root or fruit? Root. Okay? Your propensity to suffer, your resilience, root or fruit? So now, if you are a tree, and we know that for this tree to survive, the root is more important than the fruit. Yes, no? We agree? The root is the unseen. The fruit is the KPI, the one you can see. And fruits are temporal. They only have a time where they are the most beautiful. After that, if it's left there, nobody takes, it rots. There's obsolescence in fruits. There's pilferages and losses in fruits. But if you are a tree in the desert, as I would say today is a desert, all right, for the common people, you have one little leaf that's just sprouting up. And everybody says, ha ha ha, what a stupid tree, what a stunted tree. It looks terrible. It's got no degree. It's got no knowledge. It's got no competence. But hey, this tree is growing roots. Down, 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 150 feet, 200 feet. It hits the water table. What happens now? Compared to all the flowering weeds. Look at me! Look at me! I'm so pretty! Look at me! All the flowers everywhere! Inclement weather comes. Who's the first to go? We all know that. And this ugly tree, because its roots has reached the water table, what happens? So, with the same analogy and mental model, think of how our people are preparing themselves for the new economy. And what is the narrative? Is the narrative focusing on the obvious or on the roots? So if the narrative is constantly focused on this, what happens? In 2-3 years, you're dismantled again. 2-3 years, you're disrupted again. So how do you have that consistent resilience, consistent growth that's happening outside of what's obvious? That's where we come in. We give them the vernacular, a new language, that the future of work is all about value adding or value creation. Everybody desires, after I work hard for 30 years, I want to cruise. What do you mean by cruise? Cruise means very little effort, huge output. Okay? So, very little effort, earn a lot of money. Is this possible? Yes. If you stop becoming a broiler chicken, you take the risk to become a kampung chicken. Both also can die, by the way. Kampung chicken will be hunted by scouts like me. Go and hunt turi ayam. Okay? Broiler chicken, for sure, 30 days ago. Okay? So, we created this in 2011, and I presented it in a think tank in New Orleans. And all the think tank people, the professors, the stalwarts of work life and employee engagement started to latch on to the future of work. 2011, we had this vernacular. Alright? And we're showing the 5 types of workers that's pretty much this, today. Alright? You've got the value sustainer, which 80% are there, do job, go home, correct? Alright? And then you have the value pretender, which is, you got this kind, it takes all kinds to make the world. A value pretender is somebody that when the boss is around, whoop, whoop. Alright? And the system allows that. The system promotes that. So what value are you really adding if you are a pretender? Okay. So what the good news is, the new economy, the digital transformation, they will start to kill off the pretenders because it's getting flatter and flatter, right? Then we have the value added, the very basic to just hold on to your job. People don't realize that if you perform job scope and go home, you will not survive. Because again, remember the value and capital, labor and capital, there's no longer a fair exchange. Not like 40 years ago there was fair exchange. Right? So now we're going to be a value adder and value leader. In the two sentences you see under value leader, we have redefined leadership in two simple terms. Alright? And leadership is not rocket science. You just have to be two things. One, you are a talent synergizer. Two, you are an opportunity strategist. That's all. That's all. I don't know what MBA schools are teaching about leadership, but leadership is very clear to me. Talent synergizer, opportunity strategist. When you have a good team, you give them the opportunity, what happens? They explode. And you don't even have to do anything. You just light the fire and get out of the way. It's so easy to be a good leader. But why is it people are so finding it so difficult? Because all your people are broiler chickens. Alright? So value creator, of course, all of you. You are value creators. So when your app adds a value, connects a need, alright? You create a value, and out on the internet it's so cheap, alright? It's easily freely accessible. You disrupt the old economy, what happens? You deserve the capital that's invested in you. So you command a premium. So we start to realize that work today is no longer synchronous. That means 8 o'clock, go attend, everybody go to that workplace. Singapore is a rentier's economy. The model is you have a few properties, you rent so that you can get sleep money. In a rentier's economy, do you add any value? Zero production but still get a lot of money, right? Okay. So rentier's economy is not correct. Alright? So our mindsets are all about renters, you know. I mean, open house, right? So that you can rent, right? Don't waste your time. Okay? The market actually is cooked up so high now that you go in, you'll be carrying the cross for the rest of your life plus 2 more lifetimes. The real value of the property, you know? It's difficult to define, right? Today there's so much information and not sure which information is right or wrong. So things are no longer linear. We are talking about value adding and creation. Job scope is for machines, not you, for those robots under AI algorithms. You are a flourishing gumbo chicken. Agency versus employment. Can you see? When you are employment, do you know the authenticity is required? It's a lot less. You know, we have a lot of people transiting after 30 years in the military. They come out as colonels and then they join the marketplace. You know how scary is that prospect? Because after 30 years, what is the ultimate result to a person? You are institutionalized. What does institutionalized mean? You cannot function without the institution telling you what to do. Your identity, your name card, your uniform, your everything, your rank is tied to the institution. Without it, when you strip it all off, you become naked. And they cannot deal with the nakedness. It's a very stressful time for them. So that's what happens. So when you talk about agency and employment, there's a distinct difference. Agency, you're responsible for your own profit and loss. You don't work, you got no food on the table. And then you also will start to put a price tag on your head. If I work for 1 hour, I've been working for 1 hour for $20 for the last 5 years. Time to upgrade. So you put a price tag on your head. Let me see, I want to charge $100 an hour. Then let's take a look at your output. Compare that globally across people who are doing the same things. Are they charging $100 an hour? If those that are charging $100 an hour, what are the kind of outputs and quality that they're coming? See, this is a personal responsibility that you have to start managing your own worth. And this is, new economy is all about this, not what the boss tell you. Sure, you say, David, I'm still in a system that I have to do my job scope and go home. Then I ask you, how many percent of your time is spent value adding versus doing your job scope? Second thing I ask you, do you have any discretionary projects that you are doing right now that's beyond your job scope? Are you volunteering for things that you are passionate about within the organization and using the organizations as a platform to test and test and test your ideas? Then they say, no, I'm doing my job going home, I'm already very busy. Then I say, goodbye. You are broiler chicken. Okay? So we talk about premium for value, not time, talent liquidity. Talent is all over the world. And with the internet, I can access talent for so much cheaper than what I used to do. I can give you an example. When I started work, I was in Asia Pacific breweries. When they do a branding, they do a logo, the designer can charge up to $10,000 for one logo. That was in the late 80s, early 1990s. The designer was branded. Okay, so the logo was branded. All right. Today, on Fiverr, I can have a logo turn around $15. Okay, no color, $5. Just as good. So, this is the kind of value that's commoditized around the world today. All right. So we are on the constant pressure to create, to rise above competence into artistry. Otherwise, you can never command a premium. So now realize that people are interdependent, and our schools teaching our kids to be relational. Interdependence is the first prerequisite is you have to be relational orientation. That means if there's something that I can not do alone, I will not do alone, because two is better than one. Our exam system is all about you performing, regurgitating and performing. Network knowledge cheap. Okay? So, one thing that perpetuates our problem is that a lot of the broiler chickens are tuned to the wrong radio stations. They are tuned to the common radio station is what? The new world is here. You guys will get retrenched. You will not have a job. Cost of living is going up, so you better retrain. More skills, more skills, more skills. Your industry is failing. Change to healthcare. This is the common refrain. The stations that is constantly blaring, isn't it? And then people are confused. Okay, I know the new economy is on me. I'm going to lose my job soon. My burn rate is 7,000 a month. If I accept 3,000, I will accept lah. I'm hand to mouth. Then they hear all this, reskill, reskill, reskill. Do you even think they know what to do? First thing you have to explore is that tell them that your fears are unfounded. There will be 10 years of hard life from now on. The moment now till you lose your job. Practical advice, stop spending money, cut down on your costs, all right? Be prepared. Save for 6 months of unemployment. All the unnecessary things, cut down. Reduce your burn rate to almost survival situation. Train your children. Train yourself. For another 5 years of hard time while you reinvent yourself. Then we teach them the digital literacy. How do I reinvent myself? Not just shouting, the world is changing, you all must change, How? How to change? What mental models do I adopt? How does it affect personally? So what radio stations are you tuning to? So, guys, let me give you my example now. 12 years ago, before I started Eros is Soul, I said, look, I can tune into experts and professors with research paper and research paper after research paper. Okay? And then I realized, 1 year coffee is good, another year coffee is bad, another year coffee is good, another year coffee is bad. So, hey, hello, 7 years coffee good, coffee bad, coffee good. What is it really? I love coffee and I drink it anyhow. I don't care what professors say, good or bad, I drink it. You see, research has a selfish intent, just like statistics. They are lies and damn lies. It's to prove something. If you decide to find and focus and find something, you will find. Just like, can you give yourself 100 reasons why you should not exercise? Ladies and gentlemen, you can. You can. You're smart enough. And you don't exercise, is that correct? It's wrong. So, guys, rationality is different from wisdom. Logic is different from wisdom. People must start to realize that. You see, there's a huge difference. So what radio stations are you tuning to? That's perpetuating your problem or helping you? So I tune into coffee good, coffee bad, coffee good. I said, researchers, you can just wait. I'm not wasting my time on you. Okay? I decided, for those of you who are non-religious, I decided to follow nature. Because if there's anything to learn that's sustainable, it's from nature. For those of you who are spiritual, I decided to follow God. The Bible became my manifesto. All answers, I look here. Those of you who don't believe in God, then you go to nature. Look at nature, how ecosystems are formed. And why is it important that ecosystem, one organism's waste becomes another organism's food? Okay? Now look at the corporate today. What kind of ecosystems are there? If the Gini coefficient is stretching so far and so far and so far, one organism in the ecosystem will die. And it's a huge organism. Right? When the organism dies, what happens? The small group that has everything, I don't know. There's a very apt description of the future. The pitchforks are coming for the plutocrats. I mean, if you look at Brexit, you look at Donald Trump, I think this is just a start. Because an ecosystem, as humans are, the way we arrange ourselves, is one of the highest ecosystems in nature. But because of, I don't know, man's greed, selfish intents, not really knowing where the natural order of things are, all right? There will be some unfairness generated. That's fair, that's fine. But when the unfairness comes to a stage where one big, huge group of organisms starts to die off, it's no longer sustainable. So before you die off and become a broiler chicken, we exist, our reason for being is to help you at least take the first step to be a kampung chicken. So tune into the right stations. So this is just some of the description of new reality. All right, we won't go through because how much time do I have? Where am I now? Oh, almost 1 hour. All right, and you can see the business today, the organizations is an emotional vacuum. And they are talking, the buzzword is always about engagement, yes? Now, like I said, very simple. Again, the mental model, happy chickens, tasty chickens, yes? So if you want the productive workers, all right, you've got to meet their needs. And if whole situation in the corporate social circles, corporate circle and work is an emotional dearth of, you have there's no inner, basically zombie-like lah. And what kind of value are we producing in this digital age where everything counts in a very short time and people are walking zombies? So it is a problem. It's a very problem. So, and then another mental model that we have to understand is spell and how we empower broiler chickens. We go back to nature. I said, imagine a mountain. Right at the top is their life. Okay, where is life? At the sides of a mountain. Now look at the corporate hierarchy. Life, no life? Where is life? Sides of the mountain. So if the sides of the mountain is the one that has life, that's where the action is, isn't it? But today we spend a lot of time hovering, paying attention. Not here. So this is a very, very wrong management practice. And true enough, can you see how nature teaching us now? There is the sides of the mountain that sustains life. Take care of the sides. Change the narratives now, not to help the top, but help the bottom. So we want to talk about the whole person, not just your skills. What do you bring to the table? Like I said just now before, I am multidimensional. I can bring my parenting skills. I learn my counseling skills not by attending a counseling course. I learn my counseling skills from my involvement in church, right? And my talk, right? To when I visit third world countries, I speak to people, the natives of the country, all right? The kind of troubles they go through, the problems they have. They have no money for medical, they're always full of sores, all right? And even fever, they have no money for Panadol. So I believe in miracles. I sometimes perform small little miracles. I don't know how. Maybe it's the law of attraction. I'm a father. I'm a managing director. I'm a coach. I'm many things. And for that to happen, I also go to gym to make sure that I'm fit. Mentally, I'm rested. Rested means what? I have worries. Sometimes I cannot even feed my family. Okay? As you can see, I'm kind of firebrand, isn't it? So, sometimes I cannot feed my family, but you know what? I have peace. And if you want to know more, it's peace that surpasses understanding. How do you get that? I want you to talk to me separately. Social, I got friends, family, support, spiritual. 4, capital, I employ to become a whole person, to give everything I've got in anywhere that's important. Now, is that powerful? And there's no office hours for me. I can be working any time of the day. Sometimes I get inspiration when I'm sitting on the toilet bowl, and work happens there. Right there. I'm serious. So there's no work-life balance for me. What work-life? What are you talking about? A golden goose is flying, And just as well, you are vacationing. So you say, oh, this is my time. This is no work time. But golden goose of work idea is coming to you. For 5 years you have been in the desert, you got nothing. So now golden goose fly over on the lake golden egg. You say, no, don't want the golden egg because it's my time, vacation time. You see, when you are tuned in the wrong radio station, your behavior is all wrong. You do not understand the strategic value of certain things that can advance you, although at an inconvenient time, but it can advance you a lot. That's the problem with broiler chickens. They have forgotten to see that the sunset is beautiful and it's free. Alright? So the whole person, training up the whole person is very key. If you are not, spiritual doesn't have to be religion, right? You can be a humanist, or you can be philosophical. Understand that you're not the be-all and end-all of everything, just that you are just a small part of an ecosystem. That's spiritual. So we created, this is our very first trademark, all right, a capstone of integration. How do I put all these things together so that I become a kampung chicken that is daring, kampung chicken that enjoys doing what I do, all right, and I enjoy the attention and the esteem that the hands give me because I'm performing at my best all the time. Physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. All right, so this is a very powerful model. Just to give you an explanation, short one. At the base, at the bottom layer, all right, the most important when we talk about the literacy, all right, is the core values. Do we know what are things that are important to us? All right, when people have no defined core values, what happens? They will make decisions based on convenience, based on feelings. Hello, when you are angry, do you know how your IQ drops when you're angry? And it can drop as much as 20 points IQ. That's why a lot of people do stupid things when they are angry, isn't it? So what kind of good decisions can you make when you're always angry? Always anxious? Zilch. Zilch. In fact, you make all the stupid decisions that's counterproductive to you and your family and the company. Now let's take a look. Do we have happy broiler chickens in companies? In Singapore? You decide. So if our chickens are not happy and they are broiler types, what is happening? Are we adding value? Are we preparing ourselves to be resilient for the future? Are we preparing ourselves for the rewards? No. Okay? So the new economy orientation is very key. That's why we talk about the digital literacy. Now, time has changed. We are as bold as to even introduce a new sort of time. Instead of chronos time, where you run A to B, point A to B from this minute to that minute, now we are talking about kairos time. What's kairos time? You appreciate moments, experiential moments. You arrest where are the important moments that's aligned to your core values, that gives you the greatest pleasure, or the greatest enjoyment, or the greatest relaxation. Alright? And there are times where you decide this is winter time, I'm buckling down, alright, without rest, I'm just going to go on this project until I'm done. Not work-life balance, 8 hours work, 8 hours life. That's ridiculous. So the vernacular of work-life balance, even with people who are in the industry, they're still using work-life balance. Do you know that language is such an important basis of culture that if you keep using the wrong language, you never change. You never change. So we call it a new work-life charter, and it's integration. And capstone means what? This is the foundation point where everything starts. Okay? So time now becomes seasons, short seasons, long, moments and stages. So you start to design your lives, or say, okay, I'm at the stage of life where I don't have a family. All right, I can live with what's that called? Survival? What's survival? Subsistence level, right? Because I got no family, I got no children, right? So now I'm going to 24 hours or 12 hours a day, do what I think is best. So there are times that you rest. There are seasons in everything. Seasons for life, seasons for tears, seasons for sorrow, seasons for work, seasons for harvest. Work according to nature, because that's the circadian, the nature's rhythm that allows nature to flourish at its best. Why do flowers bloom in the morning when there's dew? And when the dew and the flowers look great, fantastic, isn't it? There's a rhythm in nature. Follow that. Not follow your to-do list. From this time to this time, I must get 7 appointments. Hello. There are Pareto rules means what? There are times where there are appointments that you don't even go. But there are times where there are certain appointments, 100% mind, body, you have to be there. And in 5 minutes, you solve things that you would do attending, running for 7 meetings, and it's not solving anything. That's inconsequential. So how do people make these choices? All right, they have to go through. Work is grow families and service space. How many people do we understand that? So this actually is our world's first comprehensive roadmap for effective work and flourishing lives in the digital economy. It takes actually at least a day to go through this, the details. Alright? So we want to, this is actually, I wanted to do a discussion, but I think I don't have time. Alright, but I think these are the language that we are going to install into people. It's only just a few of these. Alright, ownership, alright, we have ownership, relationships, the soul, wisdom, talent, fun, value. Do you hear any of these words blasting in the radio broadcast today? Very few. So we are not going the right direction. Okay? When I say fun kairos, happy chickens, tasty chickens. So work now should be fun, so that we generate all the positive emotions, isn't it? And positive emotions gives us a lot of endorphins, right? Enable us to do a lot of other things. If when you have fun, you can take a lot of stress. This is the additional benefit of fun. So are we having fun when all companies are emotional vacuum chambers? So there's no fun. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm done. It's a new beginning, it's a Rubicon's point. I think important thing is you become as tech people, you become the ambassadors. Alright? There's a new language that we need to learn, and The new economy is not about upskilling and skill and skill. It's not about skill. It's not because once you understand the digital language, your attitude and your mental models are changed. You self-skill. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Self-skill. And that's exactly what I've been doing the last 12 years. I am a finance graduate. I never worked a day in the bank. How is it that I become a human capital fella? I never attended any HR course. I self-skill. Why? Because I have a passion. I have the gift of insight. Alright? So I put 2 and 2 together. Da da da. So guys, bring back the good, the just, and the beautiful. Technology, the chasm, has its good and the bad. If the people don't rise up to embrace the good, then some small people will dictate what your life's going to be. So guys, thank you very much.
Okay. I have time for just only one question.
Yes, sir.
Right. Anyone has any question?
I want to make some comments.
Yes, Bill.
Maybe
Comments are welcome.
Yeah, I think it's really, I mean, you spoke with passion and fairly revolutionary to some
Yes.
if you go back to that chart
Yes.
of the various stages of development, whether it's company or country.
Yes, okay, I know which one.
I just thought that, you know, it is,
This one?
yeah, where we are, I think we have all that, whether it is in country or even the types of company, because we can, let's say in Singapore, have companies that belong to each of those categories, whether you are already hierarchical,
Yes.
leadership,
Yes.
level of teams. So I don't think that, you know, you have only one model at any one time, right? That's
Thank you, Bill, for your perspective. That's absolutely correct. I missed that out.
and even for a country.
Yes.
I
It's a
mean,
mix.
including-
Yeah, it's a mix.
That's my second point is, I think we have, you know, people who are combat chickens, kampong chickens, or even fighting cocks. They all exist, and I think that you need all of them in a company.
Yes,
Because
certainly.
I don't think that you can.
Not everybody can
Yeah,
be.
you can make them all kampong chickens
Yes.
and so on.
Yes.
So how they become that, or how, I think sometimes they are that, you know, they're born that, and it may not be easy to change them.
That's right.
And then you need all these people because you need
Yes,
people
correct.
of
You
different
cannot have
levels.
everybody running the show.
Exactly. Yeah.
Bill, I appreciate what you just said. I think it's important even for people who follow, to
Yeah.
follow intelligently.
Right.
Because we are talking again now about how people can reinvent themselves to be adding more value.
Yeah.
So even a worker who's very basic and just doing his a janitor, so to speak,
Yeah.
they can add tremendous value,
Sure.
you know, and stay as a janitor,
Yeah.
you know. And
And then my last point is, I think it goes back to our education system, right? Because as you mentioned, we are taught to ace exams,
yeah,
you know, taught to repeat what we learn.
yeah.
So, you know, I've seen some new experimental models
Yes.
where the teaching is not to impart knowledge,
That's right.
is to come together as a team and say, here's a problem,
Yeah,
how can
solve
you
it.
solve it? Right? So what it requires is inquisitiveness,
Yep.
creativity,
The
and that's
ability
where
to think, work
yeah,
together.
and that sparks innovation,
Mm.
and then empathy, teamwork, and
Yes,
so on.
absolutely.
So that's a new sort of environment that maybe encourage the new person
Yes.
and the new economy.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
But at the end of the day, whatever skills or tools that you give them, they still have to fit within the organization. So how do you create that new organization? So people like Google, Facebook, Red Hat, you know, they're redesigning the work,
That's right.
redesigning the purpose of.
That's
So,
right.
you know, that to go some ways to solving, you know, the dilemma
Yes.
and the problem
Yes.
that you just stated.
Okay, I hear your question. It's a very good question. First thing, all of you are here not for a reason, not for a stupid reason just because you're attending my talk. You're here because you're creating a new reality, a new company, all right? And when you do that, all right, you hear this right language, right culture, you're probably going to implement that. So it starts from all the entrepreneurs. It starts from even we get the same question asked of us when we do civil service, these kind of courses, and they are they're in a super hierarchical red tape kind of situation. So they ask, what can I do? Even with the Director General's top C-level suites, they say 4 years everybody the CE change again, and then there we go again, running around. So my suggestion is have courage. You have a certain control and latitude within the organization. That's where you are. Make some small changes and watch the engagement change, and empower your people to know a little bit more so that they start to value add and you get less and less thing to do. I say, do your own experiment in your own department. Now that's plausible without really changing. I mean, they'll still fulfill their KPI, whatever the top ones, just give it to them. But fundamentally, the way they run the company is slightly now different. They recognize that each employee now can actually bring tremendous capacity and value to the department. What can I do about it? So one of the suggestions that we ask is, let's synergize the team. All right, know what they're good at. Are they positioned and employed at where they are good at? So these are the first few steps that we can take, in a small scale. And eventually, if enough entrepreneurs start to come out, all right, and they know of this digital language, when they create their organizations, like what you say, Google, they all started small, right? Then slowly there will be impact because these companies will just keep on making waves and making headlines, and people start wondering what are they doing right. And then the culture will be studied. Slowly, the dinosaurs will start to catch up before they get extinct. So it's a groundswell effect. I mean, if like any other cause that we evangelize, it takes a while. All right, and we need, of course, people like yourselves who are already in the front lines, who are experiencing some of this language that's happening, to evangelize and slowly spread the word. I think the reason why we decided to do individuals is that I can start changing my life today. You know what I'm saying? So when they start, then their friends start, it start to, I guess, that's how societies change, one at a time.
It's good for personal development.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's what they should be doing, otherwise they'll be irrelevant. Any other questions? No?
Yeah. Sorry. Thanks, Eric. This is a topic which is actually stirs quite a lot of thinking, and it's actually quite relevant today, right? So I think rather than talking in the group, maybe I invite you guys to have pizza, and then we can actually discuss. If you continue to discuss.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.